Howdy, folks. I'm Gracious Gargoyle, genially gesturing at gentle grandmas.
And I'm Jinx the cat with my little pumpkin basket here.
Is that Jinx spelled with a J or a G?
A J.
Well, you failed at this tongue twister. But let's get started.
But Jinx is cute.
All right, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Friend That Her quote-unquote free wedding is unrealistic? I'm a 24-year-old female and a member of a friend group in which one member, we'll call her Coral, a 23-year-old female, is getting married. She announced her engagement to her fiancé, a 25-year-old male, a few weeks ago, and we were all happy for her. Well, over the weekend, though, she shared more specific plans for the wedding. And that's where things have kind of gone off the rails. Well, she said that she's been seeing a lot of people on TikTok and Instagram showing how to plan a quote-unquote free wedding. Free weddings where the couple spends $0, aside from the marriage certificate fee, I guess. At first, I thought that she meant a city hall wedding, which would be completely fine. But then she gave the other details to us and her expectations for the ceremony. She's going to try and find someone with a large outdoor space to use, not formally a wedding venue, who will donate the area in support of quote-unquote love. She is going to have all of her guests bring a potluck with very specific assignments. She will have a friend officiate, a friend do photography, a friend to do save the dates and invites, her family to do the flowers, etc., including some harder to swing, in my opinion, things like getting a large tent, decorations, wedding favors, speakers, bands, etc. I'm not sure what her plan was for the dress, though. What's more is that Coral and her fiancé really aren't poor, at least from what I can tell. She works as an accountant at a big company, and her fiancé does software sales. Plus, his parents are loaded. It sounds like they just want to do a free wedding for the sake of it. That would be okay, but she is just shifting all of the cost onto other people, some of whom are probably less well off. She told me that she wants me to make the cake, and then she sent me some pictures for quote-unquote inspiration. The cakes were ridiculously elaborate. We're talking about multi-tier fondant flowers, gold leaf, and one even had a hand-painted watercolor design. I'm not a professional baker. I just like to bake cookies and brownies sometimes. I told her that those cakes would probably take me days to make, and they wouldn't come out anywhere near as nice. She just kind of laughed it off and said, oh, well, it's not about it being perfect. It's just about everyone pitching in. It'll be fun. I told her that fun or not, what she was describing was basically her friends and family subsidizing her wedding with time, money, and labor. And that it was kind of unfair to expect people to spend so much on their free wedding. Or else she was expecting everyone to show up to a lackluster event and just pretend that it was amazing. Like it's a group project that none of us wanted to do because we're already graduated and moved on from all of that, so we don't need the credit. She does graduate a year later than the rest of us. I said that if she wants a free wedding, that she should probably just elope or go to City Hall, because this isn't really free, it's just free to her. I might have been a bit forceful in my wording, but I didn't swear or call her names or anything like that. She got super quiet and just looked at me for a minute and then left, with another one of our friends driving her home. Later that night, I got a text from that friend saying that I really hurt Coral's feelings, and that if the plans were a bit unrealistic, I should have just let Coral come to that conclusion on her own. Coral then messaged me saying, sorry, don't worry about the cake, with no more context. Now I'm feeling pretty bad about it, especially since Coral was so happy and excited, and she never really said anything mean to me. Perhaps I should have just gone along with the cake, since she said that she wouldn't have been mad if it turned out badly. But I'm worried that her wedding will not be what she wanted, and I also was frustrated about the cake request. Edit. Honestly, I feel a bit bad now. Coral is a really sweet person who is just a bit naive. I feel like a lot of people in the comments are tearing her up more than she deserves. She has always been the quote-unquote baby of the group, and I just got frustrated and ranted on this case. I don't know what the fiancé thinks about all of this. All right, folks, what do you think?
I don't think OP's a jerk for this. I think it's important for Coral to understand what she's actually asking of people. Like, not only the time and energy to bake that kind of cake, but the amount of ingredients you're going to need for like a 3-tier fancy cake. It's a lot of money. So none of this is actually free. Like, she's expecting her family and friends to pitch in a lot of time, money, and energy to make this wedding happen. And so, like, there's nothing wrong with having a potluck wedding in someone's backyard or something like that. But those kind of weddings are relatively low key. And, everyone's kind of on board with like making basic dishes. The wedding cake is more likely a sheet cake and that type of deal.
Well, and plus, she's not asking people; she's voluntolding people, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I kind of have a bit of a problem here. This isn't so much like, oh, people sign up on a sheet, they get to choose what they want to bring, and then they can choose what they want to do. Now, she has very specific assignments for every single person that she's inviting, which I think is a little bit unfair because, like, maybe people aren't going to want to cook the exact thing that she wants them to bring, right?
Right. Or they're not going to have the time to do something that elaborate.
So I do think like the cake request here is a little bit entitled. But overall, I don't think a free wedding is a problem, and I don't think that her wanting to arrange a free wedding is a problem either. And maybe she does need her expectations tamped down a bit, but it also sounds like there's a couple of factors here. As for OP and whether or not they should have said this to her, I mean, I think giving her a bit of honesty was probably important. I don't think that what OP said was overly harsh, but it does sound like OP is very frustrated. One question I have that's kind of outstanding is Coral expecting people to not only, prepare everything for their wedding, but also give her wedding gifts?
Right.
Like, if this is something where these are all in lieu of wedding gifts, that's a little bit of an easier pill to swallow, right? And maybe, again, like, the cake thing was a bit much. I mean, other potluck dishes probably aren't going to be quite elaborate as the cake. If there was no wedding gift required, then, that's basically people bringing in their food is going to be the wedding gift, or helping with decorations and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. So, like, I mean, again, the idea of a budget wedding isn't a bad thing, and if people, if you have family and friends who are enthusiastically volunteering to do things, then that's fine. But, you can't just sign people up to do your wedding and expect everyone just to go along with that.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Will I Be a Jerk If I Don't Wear a Fake Engagement Ring on a Family Vacation? Hi, everyone. So let's get into it. I'm a 24-year-old female, and I've been wanting to move to Australia. I've loved reptiles ever since I watched 72 of the most dangerous animals in Australia. When I was 12, I have wanted to go. I wanted to be a herpetologist, but before I move and commit my life to being that far away from home, my family agreed to go on a 1-month-long vacation to truly experience the life with me. This is wonderful, but the issue arises because my boyfriend, a 25-year-old male, we'll call him Dan, asked me to wear a fake engagement ring while I was on said vacation with my family. For some context, Dan fully supports me moving to Australia and has said that he will come along with me if I choose to do so. My issue is that Dan has not proposed. We have talked about being married and having children, but he said that it would be in the future, not right now, as we're both not financially stable enough for it. He wants me to wear the ring because the area that we're going to on vacation is where I want to live, and he doesn't, quote unquote, want the locals to think that they have a chance. I told him that they won't think that, but he is insisting on the ring. Well, tonight we were watching the MLB wildcard series, Go Red Sox, and I brought up how excited I was for my trip, and Dan said, wait, I have something for your trip. And then he runs to our room and brings out a huge ring, bigger than what I want in the future. I told him that I do not want to wear the ring because we are not engaged, and we got into an argument. This turned into him sleeping on the couch and his mother texting me and telling me that it's not that big of a deal if it makes him more comfortable. I love Dan more than anything, and I do want to marry him. But I feel like putting on a ring before actually having a ring is gross. I feel like I'm in the wrong because his family doesn't see it as that big of a deal and are telling me that it's not that big of a deal, while I'm making it that way. I really don't want to fight over this, so do I just get over it and put on the fake ring and try to explain it to my family, or will I be the jerk if I just refuse to wear the fake ring? Side note, I haven't told my family or friends about this because they love Dan. To the point, my father calls him son and my mom texts him a good amount. I don't want to ruin the relationship, but I'm not sure how to navigate this. I also don't want to rush him into an engagement over this. He deserves to take his time, but this whole situation seems weird. Alright folks, what do you think?
No, absolutely not the jerk. If he wants a ring on your finger, then he should propose to you. I mean, engagements don't have to be immediate. It's not like as soon as the ring is on your finger, you're married. No.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, how does that song go? If you...
Like, and you should have put a ring on it.
Yeah.
And like, is he gonna wear like a fake wedding band around, to let everyone know that he's off the table? Like, it seems very one-sided, and like he doesn't trust you. And that doesn't bode well for the relationship if he doesn't trust you as if a fake engagement ring is going to ward off sleazy people anyway.
So, I mean, I think that he is overthinking this in a lot of ways. And I understand OP's sentiment here where this just feels very forced upon, right? Like he wants to, reserve her.
Yeah, like he's
right?
marking his property.
Right. But not actually do the whole proposal thing, right? So he's kind of sending a mixed message here because like people do long-term engagements a lot, right? So if he's really serious about marrying her and wants to marry her, then why not propose, right? Like that's kind of the whole deal that where I see it. And the thing is like if this is this important to him that he really wants her to have his ring and stuff like that, then you know what that requires? A proposal, right? Like he can't fake propose and then expect, and because like what happens if the relationship falls apart or something like that, right? I mean like, and plus like a ring that big and gaudy and stuff like that too, like that's just not in poor taste, right? So I think there's a lot of issues here, and I think what he's saying is he wants to propose, but he wants the benefits of the proposal without proposing.
Well, he wants to make sure Mark OP is off limits, so no guy would dream of flirting with her. Again, like that does not dissuade creeps anyway.
Yeah.
But without actually having to commit to her. I think, he is not willing to make what he sees as a big commitment, and that's understandable, but he can't just expect you to pretend like you're engaged, if you're not actually engaged.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Blowing Up on My Husband Because He Keeps Eating My Emergency Snacks After I've Asked Him Not to? Today, I, a 29-year-old female, blew up on my husband, a 31-year-old male, for eating my emergency snacks that I keep for hypoglycemia episodes. I'm currently 19 weeks pregnant with my second baby. In my last pregnancy, during the glucose test that they do to see if you have gestational diabetes, they discovered that I actually have hypoglycemia. This makes a lot of sense due to the symptoms that I experienced before the pregnancy. Well, during pregnancy, it's much worse. I have to eat at least every couple of hours to keep my energy levels up. Even doing this, sometimes I get hypoglycemic episodes out of nowhere. They are a terrible experience. I get the shakes and I start to sweat and have hot flashes. I feel like I'm going to pass out, lose coordination, and get brain fog. I keep a handful of specific snacks in the house and the car for when I experience these symptoms. The insatiable hunger that I feel during these episodes is terrible. It's like I ran a marathon while fasting. My husband is really selfish when it comes to food, to put it bluntly. He's always eating my leftovers. If there is something that we buy that we both enjoy, he eats the majority of it and leaves little for me. Well, he's gotten into the habit of eating my emergency snacks. I started buying double so that he could have his and I would have mine, but he eats everything so much faster and in greater quantities than me. If he finishes his and sees that I still have mine, he will eat mine without even asking. I've had this conversation with him so many times, it's just tiring. To please not eat my designated snacks unless he asks. He doesn't really think that it's that big of a deal. Well, today I started not to feel so good. I went to grab one of my snacks only to find out that he had taken it. I called him at work to see if he really did take it, and he said that he did because he was running late to work and just needed to grab something easy. I blew up on him. I'm tired from pregnancy, hormonal, and chasing around a toddler all day. Yes, we have other food in the house, but I keep those snacks because they're easy for me and boost my nutrition quickly. It seems so silly to be upset over food, but I've exhausted myself having this conversation with him. He always says that he will replace the food, but that doesn't help me in the moment that I need it. I admittedly yelled at him and told him not to talk to me when he gets home and to figure out dinner himself. So I guess my question is, am I the jerk for being so upset over snacks? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, absolutely not the jerk. And you're not upset over snacks. You're upset over your partner repeatedly deprioritizing you and putting your health at risk just so he can have snacks.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really the core of the issue here. He is being extraordinarily selfish in this situation, and OP needs these snacks for a medical reason. If this was just like, oh, I really like the snacks and want you not to eat them, I would still think that OP would have the right to have their own designated snacks.
Exactly.
But it wouldn't be quite as bad as this situation where she literally needs the snacks for a medical reason. Like, I can understand selfish to some degree, because we're all selfish to some degree, but this is dangerous. This crosses the threshold from just being a selfish partner to actually just being a neglectful partner who doesn't seem to care about the well-being of your partner.
Right, like this is a literal medical need, and he is taking away something that OP needs to stay healthy. I mean, honestly, OP, like if you could stay with your parents for the rest of the pregnancy or something, like I might recommend trying that, because if he's going to keep stealing your food and, sees no problem with that, and you're busy being pregnant and chasing around a toddler, like things could go sideways quickly, and I don't trust him to do the right thing.
Yeah, well, what happens if OP had been in a worse state where she wasn't able to like make herself food with the rest of the food that was in the house, right? And that this was like the thing that she needed right then and there. He could have put her life at risk, right?
Yeah, and he's at work. He's not going to get home for another however many hours. So, like, I just don't understand how someone can be that selfish and greedy.
Yeah. And plus, this isn't even the first time. It sounds like this is so many times in that she's just tired and frustrated at this point. So I don't blame OP at all. And I think that you're right that maybe going somewhere safer would be a good idea during the pregnancy, because this could turn into a dangerous situation very quickly. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. And Amber, she has a joke.
Why shouldn't you seek out comedic squirrels?
Well, because comedic squirrels will make fun of SpongeBob, and we don't want them to make fun of SpongeBob. That might hurt SpongeBob's feelings.
You'll get a corny joke.
An acorny joke. I see. It took me a second to process that. Yeah, I mean, that would make sense. And I have licorice spice. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Friday, Junior.
Happy Friday, Junior.
Thanks so much to Amber for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on free weddings.
There is nothing wrong with a budget wedding, but if you're expecting a free wedding, you should probably be going to the city hall.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.